Are you looking for comprehensive solutions for your performance and automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/straightline, STR8LINE, Performance, &Automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Welcome, racers and fans, to your weekly dose of all things sportsman drag racing. This is Racers News Network Live, presented to you by Straight Line Performance and Automotive. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. They are live every Monday night, right here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
All right, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. We are going to be talking with Rollie Miller from Nmca and Nmra about their upcoming season. They got a lot of great stuff going on. Looking forward to talking to Rollie about that. They kick off in just about 6 or 7 weeks down in Florida. So let's get going. Good evening, Rollie. How are you, buddy?
Good evening. Doing great, man. Great. Glad to be with you.
All right. So we spoke a few years ago. We kind of touched on that before we went on. What's going on with Nmca? And let's just go with Nmca for now. Then we'll switch gears to Nmra for 2022.
First off, we just last week signed on Redline Oil as the series sponsor for a 2-year deal. Super excited about that, and those guys taking on the series sponsorship. We kick off our season with our 6-race championship season at, like you said, Bradenton Motorsports Park in about 5.5 weeks here, and super excited for that. We got some great streetcar classes, and then also obviously our index stuff with our stock and super stock. First time we're running those classes individually. And all the way up into our heads up stuff with Pro Mod, and Pro Mod's become just an unreal class in the last couple of years with so many competitors and races, and the chase for that championship is going to get heated up pretty quick in that class along with the others.
Now, with your Pro Mod class, do you get a lot of crossovers from other series, NHRA or Northeast?
We don't get a lot from NHRA. We don't get a lot from NHRA. A few will come over and test with us, every once in a while, use it as a test bed because the setups are a little different. We do cross over a lot. Our rules are very similar. In fact, we've worked on that to be very similar to PDRA, the Northeast Outlaw Pro Mod group, the Midwest group. All 4 sanctionings Pro Mod rules are really close, where guys might have to change a little bit of weight around, a little bit of combo around, a little maybe, but yeah, we do get some crossover from those organizations. But then we've also got our core group of 12 to 16 guys that race with us every race. So,
what is your average number of racers per event that you usually get?
For 2020 in Nmca, we averaged right at 522 race cars per event, race entries. We probably the top end of that was Martin, Michigan, where we had over 630. Some of the other races we dipped down, down into the 400 range, but the average is in the 420s, 422 to be exact for last year.
So above average, healthy car count for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, really, last 2 years we bumped up into that 500 range and now 520, and really excited about that. Got a lot of racers that want to race with us, and enjoy the show we put on and the organization we put into it.
Now, obviously, again, something else we talked about prior to coming on, everybody's still somewhat in recovery mode from 2020. This is like the year that just will not go away for most people. How are things on your end with all of that?
We're doing, actually, I feel like we navigated the whole COVID thing very well. In 2020, we were able to only have to cancel one race, and we actually combined it with another one in the 2 series. We did great on car count that year. Obviously, with fans, we couldn't have at a lot of those locations. 21, we were on track to do the same thing and even top that. We got hit with weather every Saturday of every event in 2021. So
Wow.
Mother Nature and I had some disagreements last year, and that hurt us on spectator count a little bit, but car count was right where it needed to be, you know, in that growth that we want, that we're looking for. So I feel like we've been able to navigate it very well, even all things considered. But you got to pay attention to it. You got to know, you know, each venue, you got to know what state you're in. You got to know what mandates are out there. You got to know what you're dealing with, and your track partners helped a lot with that. And we appreciate and have great track partners that we're associated with. So that's the key for it.
Hopefully everything stays calm for 2022.
Yes, sir.
With all of that, I know out at Pomona, they're already starting off with you have to wear masks.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
Yeah.
we shall see what we see, I guess. So,
like I said,
what
every
else?
state's different.
Oh yeah, it's, you know, I honestly, especially on your end of things, I can't imagine. You just must pull your hair out with, you know, going, all right, well, we're in Michigan this week. Okay, everything here is normal, or, you know, completely around the bend, and then you go to Ohio the week after, and okay, what does this thing say again? You know what
Which
I mean?
which one do I have to abide by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's cool. So one of the things that you mentioned before we went on was you have a really cool program for your street race guys. They purchased a vehicle. Why don't you kind of talk about that a little bit more? I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we have a couple of programs. We have our long-standing True Street class, where competitor comes in and can be a novice or a new participant, not have gone down the racetrack before, and participate and have fun. And that's the name of it: have fun, get some laps on the racetrack, get used to it, and race with guys that have been doing it for years. We've taken that True Street format, taken the cruise out of it, and applied it to our Hemi shootout, our Dodge Hemi shootout, sponsored by Mopar. And what Dodge has done is if you go out and buy a Gen 3 car, truck, Hemi vehicle, you get an entry into that program free of charge. Mopar's paying for it. And then we're averaging about 72 to 80 of those guys coming in every race. And a lot of them, over 50% of them, never raced with us before, you know, each time. And bought a brand new Challenger, or bought a brand new Hemi Jeep or truck or SUV, and come out and participate in that format on Saturday and have a ball, learn how to drag race, learn how to stage, learn how to navigate a drag strip, and look for repetitive performance in the same range. And it's exciting to teach folks, and you know, it goes back to the ultimate goal of drag racing, and that was to get folks off the street and on the strip. And we're definitely dedicated to that with both those programs.
That's one of the things, like I said, myself and a couple other people have kind of gone back and forth about. A lot of tracks should offer something like that, not just a sanctioning body, but a lot of tracks should say, hey, if you've never done it before, tell you what, Friday night we're open from 6 to 10. You know, come on in, say you've never raced before and you want to try and you want to sign up for the class, and you should get like free admission, and just you learn, and then you kind of stick that hook into them, and maybe, you know, another week or month or even a year, they come back and say, you know what, I did this, I loved it, I want to run for points, I want to, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a little over 3 years now, and the exciting part of it is we've actually seen just in that short amount of time guys step up into full-fledged championship index classes and compete. And one guy's even stepped into a heads-up class. That's the fun part. See guys learn and grow and be a part of the sport. Not just come out once and then they disappear. A lot of these folks are coming back and man, I want to increase my knowledge here and learn this, and it's a challenge for me. Let's go see if we can run that class. And that's fun to watch, exciting.
Now, do you have any kind of age restriction on that? Obviously, I can't, well, you never know. 16-year-old kid go out and buy a brand new Hemi, whatever,
No,
but
it's basic NHRA guidelines on chassis certs and certs and driver's license. So 16 and above. Yeah.
All right. So NMRA, what's happening with them for 2022?
Well, we've got Holly back as the title sponsor for NMRA. Super excited going into the first race there in Bradenton in a little under 4 weeks with our spring break shootout. I think it's 26th year of the spring break shootout, if I remember right. Long time there, a lot of memories there. The True Street field there, could be as many as 150, 160 race cars just in True Street. So super excited to get back there and to kick off our year there. We've got some new classes. Our 860 street race index class is folks that have street cars that are maybe not legal to go under the 850 range because of their chassis cert. And we've debuted that class where everybody's trying to run 860 and a lot of excitement around that for guys that haven't been able to do that legally on the racetrack in the past. So we got that going. And we've got, our normal heads up classes, Renegade, Limited Street, Coyote Stock, Factory Stock, all itching to get going. Those guys are really excited to get back to racing starting in March.
Now, a little bit more about your stock eliminator class you have going this year.
Yeah, we had in Nmca, we had for the last 3 years, we've run super stock combo. Our version of a stock super stock combo class. And with the growth we've seen in that class, we decided this was the year to invest in it a little bit. And we hired on Jim Bailey to be tech director over stock and super stock only, assistant tech director. And we've separated the two into a stock eliminator and super stock with both NHRA and IHRA indexes. In our version of indexes, they're a little backed off of what NHRA and IHRA run. But super excited for that race because of the growth, the amount of racers that have parked cars when IHRA quit running their national events and those classes, guys coming out with that stuff and guys that don't necessarily run the NHRA circuit all the time, coming back out, bringing them out of the garages. With the growth we've seen in the combo class and what we've gotten during the off season this year, the interest, we really think those two are going to kick off and have a lot of fun. Again, emphasis back on having fun, drag racing, right. back to the roots and enjoying having everybody at the racetrack.
Now, does that class allow for the crate motor guys to join you?
It does, actually. Jim's working hard on that to get those crate motor classes included in it. I believe he's already released that online in the index list. But yes, it does. Sure does.
That'd bring a lot of people out right there, because you hear a lot of people talking about, can I race my crate motor with whoever or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
kind of open up a whole new class of guys right there.
Exactly. And that's one of the first groups that contacted us about this when we started talking about it and looking at it, was that crate motor group. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Now it was interesting also the conversation we had prior to coming on about where Nmca and Nmra fall in the grand scheme of things as the number 2 sanctioning body in the States for drag racing.
Mm-hmm.
But what you guys are focusing on was what the original intent was, to bring people off the street, get them into a safe environment to race.
That's right. Yeah, our goal is not to compete with NHRA in any way. In fact, we're an ASO of them, and we use the same SFI guidelines and appreciate their support in what we do. Our goal is to bring, streetcar racing on the drag strip, everywhere from our Hemi program and our True Street programs, our index classes, stock, super stock, even our heads up classes are designed for street type cars, whether it's limited street or factory supercars, or our premier class in Nmca being pro mod, which evolved from the original Nmca days of pro street. And that's our roots, and that's what we're concentrating on, and where we're headed. We've grown it tremendously over the last 6 or 7 years, and have goals of continuing that and growing it even more.
Now, schedule wise,
Mm-hmm.
you guys kind of skate all over the country, which isn't a bad thing.
No, we do. It's primarily East and Midwest. We don't go further west than St. Louis. We've got 3 dual events that we race, but we kick off our year and with Nmra the first week in March in Florida and Bradenton. 2 weeks later, we kick off Nmca there. Then we slide up a month later in April and hit Rockingham. And then 3 weeks after that in May, we're at St. Louis. And then the Nmra brand slides over in June to Norwalk, Ohio. Then we jump up to Martin, Michigan, US 131 Motorsports Park. We go up and see Jason and Stephanie up there with both series, with our Power Festival, which is, the car count at that event is huge. Like I said earlier, we're averaging a little over 620, 630 cars that race every year. Then we come back down to Norwalk for the Nmca All-American Nationals. And then our 2 finals are Nmca Indy and Nmra Bowling Green, Kentucky, with the Ford Festival, partnered with Holly, which is not just a drag race, that is an event. If you've never seen that event, it's got a little bit of everything from off-road racing to drifting to autocross to road racing to over 800 cars in the car show to you name it. It's going on at that event.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, other than getting the cars off the street, what is Nmca and Nmra's message, not only to the racer but to the fan?
I think it is, first off, we're getting, like you said, getting streetcars off the street and on the strip, and let's be safe, and let's have safe events out there. We all know there's risk involved in this, but let's control that. And that's one of the reasons we brought on our own safety team and run our own safety team that travels with us. Number 2, to the fans, we look forward to having you out and experiencing the Nmra and Nmca brand of racing. We're putting on a show. We've got great midways, great car shows involved in all of our events, along with the drag racing, and try to combine that into a schedule that's fan favored. So we're inviting everybody out, come out and see us and enjoy a good show in both series. That's our 2 messages: good, safe, fun racing in a really organized event, and looking for fans to come out and enjoy it.
Can't offer any more than that, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So now, obviously, you having the 2 different brands, Nmca and Nmra. How about the let's start with Nmca. How about the sponsors that help make this series what it is?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll start off with Nmra. Like I said earlier, the series sponsor is Holly. And we've got a ton of sponsors. I'll try to go through most of them if I can, but our major sponsors in the Nmra brand are Nitto, Ford Performance, UPR sponsors the car show, Watson Racing. Then we get into some class sponsors, and I could go through each class. So that would take a lot of time, but our event sponsors are for Florida. We've got the Bradenton Sports Commission that we're partnered with. For Rockingham, we've got Skog and Dickey Parts Center. It's presented by Molly. For Madison, Illinois, HPJ Performance, Martin, Michigan, Force Engineering is presenting that one. Great little shop right there in the heart of Michigan. For Bowling Green, we've got Whipple Superchargers, and then it's presented by Vengeance Racing. So we got some great sponsors on the Nmra side. That doesn't even get into the class sponsors. Obviously, VP Racing Additives is the official fuel and a major class sponsor in both series. So, a lot of kudos and thanks to VP Racing, been a long-term partner of ours. You get over into Nmca, Redline Oil just came on, like we talked about, as the series sponsor. Brand new, just signed a new deal with them. Super excited about that. You got Mopar, Dodge, obviously tied in with that shootout we were talking about, but they're also an official sponsor. Chevrolet Performance, Ford Performance, Nitto Tire again. You got Holbrook Racing Engines, sponsoring the Florida event. Again, Scoggin Dickey in Rockingham, Force Engineering in Martin, Chevrolet in Indianapolis. One thing I wanted to bring up that is exciting for us is SICK, the magazine, and Tom Bailey and his group. They're a new sponsor of ours, but they're running their street program all through Florida later this month, leading up into March. We're also partnered with them at 3 events, the 3 individual Nmca events, the Florida event in March, the Ohio event in August, and the Indy event in September, where we're running some invitational shootouts with the SICK guys and Tom, and super excited about that. So that's kind of an overview of our sponsors. I obviously didn't nail in. There's probably another 50 class sponsors total between the 2 series. But that's the major ones that have been with us a long time. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. But it's a long list. I didn't have the list sitting in front of me. But great partners, great folks that we work with. So,
have you guys looked at all or talked at all, whatever, about expanding the car count a little bit more to include other cars? Say, let's just throw out the dragsters, the big cars, the juniors, stuff like that. Is that something that you guys have looked at and said, well, maybe we can revisit that in the future, or not so much?
We visit that subject about every 2 years. We get a couple of inquiries every year, especially on the junior dragster stuff. It's just not defined in our marketing scheme and our mission statement as what we want to do. We're focused on street cars, and we're focused on full body door cars, whether that's Pro Mod or all the way down to that Gen 3 Hemi SUV that came off the showroom floor yesterday and is coming out to race with us. And everything in between. So it's not that we don't want to, it's not that we don't see a market out there for it. It's just not, we're trying to stay focused to what our mission is. And that's door cars and street racing, getting it onto the drag strip. So I'm not dismissing that stuff. It definitely has its place and a market out there. It's just not what we're focused on, for the time.
That makes absolutely perfect sense. Like I said, with your mission of the street car stuff, it was more curiosity on my part, because you never know what it might, do, like a one-off or something like that.
Yeah. I'll add to that even in our bracket classes that we run at most of our events, we run a bracket open on Sunday for guys to enter, local guys that don't fit into any of our index classes. And we've even gone so far as to knock that down from bracket 1 and bracket 2 to just a bracket 2 door car class only, because that's our mission. And we're trying to control that car count, because we got to the point where our car count was too big. The events were managing us instead of us managing the events. And we saw that. So again, sticking with our theme and our mission is door cars. And that's what we're about.
I have a question. Do you have to be a member of Nmca, Nmra? I'm an NHRA member, he said.
It depends. If you're coming out to race one race with us and try us out, I will waive the membership fee for a racer every time like that. It comes up to the registration window and says, hey, my first time here. My instruction to my girls in the registration trailer is to waive that for them. But if you're going to go after a championship, if you're going to race in one of the index or heads up championship classes, there is a requirement to be a member for that. Now that membership fee comes with a magazine subscription and all kinds of other stuff, t-shirts and decals, and is only $50. But it's a requirement if you're going to run for a championship with us that you need to be a member. If you're just going to run one bracket class or one race to try us out, we'll waive that. Take care of it. Try to gain your business and show you what we're about.
Let's see. Got another one. Same person. Requirement to be a member. I have an IHRA Superstock car. I have an IHRA Superstock car. So he's essentially required to be a member then.
Well, his first race, I'm going to waive that. I'm going to get him over here and waive it and let him see what we're about. Then he just needs to buy his entry, tech in, and he'll tech in under an IHRA index of some type of his choice, whatever the car fits in, and we'll go racing and see how he likes us on that first race. And then from there, the only other requirement after that, if he wants to continue, would be the membership fee and rock on. Let's go have some fun. So.
All right, Ron, hopefully that answered your question for you. Well, Rollie, some good stuff, man. Like I said, we talked, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever it was, and was glad we were able to get you back on and kind of freshen things up with what's going on over on your side of the world. Let's see. Sorry about that, sir. So he said, sounds good. See you at Rockingham.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
There you go. We'll have to check in throughout the summer and see how things are going.
Would love to. Enjoyed being on the show, man.
All right, buddy. Rollie Miller, let me try that again. Rollie Miller, Nmca, Nmra, thank you very much for your time coming on, hanging out with us. I wish I could get to Florida, man.
If you can, come down. We enjoy having you.
After this weekend, from my friends that were down there, it was in the high 20s and low 30s at night at the Rolex. So
yeah, I watched that. I watched some of that. That was awesome. It was a little chilly for Florida, though. We keep that in March. It's going to be much warmer.
I hope so. I'm gonna have to try hard to get down there, but we'll see what happens with life. But again, Rollie, thank you for coming on and hanging out. And like I said, we'll catch up with you throughout the season.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, sir.
All right, buddy. Have a great night, Rollie.
You too.
All right. All right. So NMCA, NMRA, they kick off in, let's see, let me just make sure I got the dates right. Spring break shootout in Bradenton, March 3rd through the 6th. And then NMCA is March 17th through the 20th at Bradenton for the 20th annual NMCA Muscle Car Mayhem. So if you live up here, go where it's supposed to be warmer and do some racing. So, oh, actually, wait a minute. I need that. I know that Jackie Frick is in Bradenton. I think it's Fink Racing is hosting the test session down there to get ready for NHRA 2022 national and divisional stuff. So let me just pick through my papers here, make sure I got everything. There we go. But on the subject of Jackie Frick and her family, Taylor Nobile, awesome kid, 23 years old, just got married back in November, and has had a lot of success in a very short amount of time. There was an article that was written about her that came out very recently about in Drag Illustrated, I believe it was. Let me just confirm. Right there. Oops. Sorry about this. Yes, Drag Illustrated. It was part of the 30 under 30 She won her first national event at her family's home track in Maple Grove, driving her sister's Super Comp car. She's won in the divisional side in her Super Street pickup truck that her dad owns and built for her. Obviously, she's married to Vince Nobile, who's building a Super Comp dragster. So Taylor gets a lot of attention, and it's very well deserved attention. She's a great kid. She's been on with us a few times, and she'll be back February 15th. We'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. But she's a great kid and deserves everything she gets because she works her backside out for it. So congratulations to Taylor. Let's see, racers who are attending the 62nd annual Lucas Oil NHRA Winter Nationals presented by protecttheharvest.com are going to be greeted with a freshly ground, freshly polished, and prepped racing service in Pomona. NHRA is quoted as saying, the racing service in Pomona has served us well for over 20 years, but we felt it was time to grind and polish it as we prepare to kick off the 2022 season, said Casey Kohler, NHRA VP, Track Management and Vice President of Track Management and Operations. We have worked with Kurt Johnson at Total Venue Concepts on a variety of track-related projects, and this should greatly enhance the experience of the racer and the fan. The Pomona track improvements are part of a larger ongoing initiative launched by NHRA following the sale of Atlanta last fall. Similar improvement, maintenance, and upgrade projects are supposed to be scheduled to be underway or commence when the weather is appropriate at Gainesville and at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. So that's that. Let's see. We're going to kick off the divisional season, South Georgia Motorsports Park, February 11th and 12th. Again, kick off South Georgia Motorsports Park, Division 2 is going to be starting off. So looking forward to that. And then race number 2 on the divisional side of 2022, February 25th through the 27th at No Problem Raceway. That one is a regional event, so alcohol cars. Then race number 3 of 2022, March 3rd through the 4th at Wild Horse Park. Let's see, race number 4, the 5th and the 6th, so double up for Division 7 at Wild Horse. So it's coming, boys and girls. It's on its way. It's happening fast. I don't know if any of you were in Florida this past weekend or had the chance to watch the Rolex 24, which I absolutely love that race. I watch it every year. I've been a bunch of times. I took my son for the first time, I think it was 9 years ago now. An amazing race. You don't have to like road racing to like the Rolex 24 hours. But it was in the high 20s, low 30s. And it was an amazing race. And looking forward to a great season of NHRA drag racing. Ron, I will let you know the date for Rockingham. I will post them all on our Facebook page. So Jerron was supposed to join us tonight flying airbrush, but he is incredibly busy doing work. He's been posting pictures like crazy, doing a lot of great stuff with his helmets and his custom airbrush work. Him and I were actually going to talk a little bit about the weight of paint and vinyl. You know, what on some cars he's only allowed so many pounds as far as the paint goes, and you know how he accomplishes that, you know, and obviously the beautiful, amazing artwork that he does, not only on helmets but on dragsters, door cars, you name it, the guy just knocks it out of the park. So hopefully next week or the week after he'll be on, we'll be able to chat a little bit about that. Pete is going to be coming back next week. He's on his bi-weekly hiatus. So the teacher man, you know what I mean? Teaches high school automotive, owns Straight Line Performance and Automotive in the great state of Connecticut. So fast forward here a little bit. Gentleman by the name of Nick Kissack is going to be our guest next week on Racers News Network Live. He is an Olympic hopeful in skeet shooting, and also races a dragster out of Louisiana. Going to be talking to him about how the two sports kind of come together. They're as far removed from each other as they possibly could be, shooting sports versus drag racing. But a lot of the psychological stuff comes into play on both ends. He's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about even nutrition, how he takes the nutrition stuff from skeet shooting, the things that he's learned, and he brought it over to the drag racing world, and some of the things he brought from the drag racing world into skeet shooting. So looking forward to talking to Nick Kissack next week. Again, Tuesday, February 15th. This is an event not to be missed. This is going to be great. Taylor Nobile, again, there's that name, Taylor Nobile, is going to be hosting Racers News Network Live on the 15th. It's Tuesday, because the 14th, Monday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Who wants to listen to us talk? I don't even want to listen to me talk on Valentine's Day. She is going to be interviewing her aunt and uncle, Jackie and Sean. Now, we've made a couple of rules. They have to be in opposite ends of the house. They have to be out of the direct line of fire for each other so that nobody can get hurt, more so Sean doesn't get hurt. So it's going to be an episode not to miss. It's going to be great. It really is. I'm looking forward to that one. Pete and I can just sit back, or Joanne even, and I can just sit back and watch and let Taylor go. It's going to be amazing. Let's see. February 21st, Carly Wolf is going to be our guest. I've said it a few times and I'll say it again. I'll say it a few more times anyways. She wrote a really cool little article on her Instagram about bringing in the next generation of racers. And I contacted her and said, hey, look, I really enjoyed that. You brought a lot of good points up, things that myself, Jerron, Pete, and others have talked about. Would you be willing to come on and speak about that? And she said, absolutely. So Carly's going to be our guest on the 21st. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of weeks on Racers News Network Live. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Rollie Miller, and look forward to talking to you all next Monday night live at 7:00. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm. Take care.